Yes mate, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a pre-match predictions, pre-match thoughts on the game of Manchester City versus Burnley. Kickoff is tonight at 8 PM, our second match in the Project Restart of the Premier League. It was a really good return that we had against Arsenal, of course beating them 3-0. We had a very strong squad. Arsenal, they were just all over the place, particularly with David Luiz. Well, they were sort of composed, but then it was just David Luiz coming on and just making a big hash of it. It's needless to say with football, it's been a very odd return with all the changes that are happening. For example, we now got 9 substitutes, players on the bench, and you can make 5 substitutions during a game. About 25 minutes in, players can have a break for a drinks break, and it's very weird getting used to it, let alone for the fact that, of course, the stadium's empty. There's fan noise added into the stands, which people say, oh, it's typical of Man City, they're not used to having any fans. But you just gotta laugh at it, you just got to laugh at it. But still, it's just very weird. It's just a very weird return to the Premier League. Of course, in our first game, we beat Arsenal 3-0, which I'm pretty sure I did mention. Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden getting onto the score sheet. We did put out a very strong side, including Eric Garcia, who, speaking of which, he did have his collision with Ederson, which I did see it was quite a major collision. It looked like he knocked him clean out, but no, he did make a return, and he has been released from hospital after suffering an injury during last night's, this is not last night, 4 days ago, Premier League win over Arsenal. Eric was taken to Manchester Royal Infirmary Hospital after the game as a precaution for further tests. Everyone at City wishes Eric Garcia a speedy recovery, and it was indeed a speedy recovery indeed. I've said indeed twice just then. Now, it is great to see football back. It's something that we definitely did need for a return. So, just something to save our sanity, I suppose, is one way of putting it. It's all well and good watching old matches from the 66 World Cup, our 93-20 game against QPR. It's all well and good, but to see football back is of course brilliant. There's no two ways of looking at that, even if I personally would rather have not seen a return, mainly because of all the issues and everything with the virus and all that. Now we need to be cautious. But also because I'm pretty sure no one wants to see Liverpool lift the title. But let's just put rivalry to one side. Of course, it is great to see football back again. So for the Burnley match, I've just waffled on a bit too much. Let's just go into the lineup of what I think we should go ahead with the Burnley match. So in goal, I would go with Ederson, right back Kyle Walker, Otamendi and Fernandinho in centre back positions, and Mendy at left back. So going through that, of course, Ederson has got in goal. I do not want to see Claudio Bravo. I'd rather see the back of him. In fact, just see him just leave the club. He's okay in league games. I must give him credit where credit's due. He is good in league games, but in the Premier League, he is just bang average at best at times. I'm just going to be brutally honest in retrospect, looking at that. And the two centre-halves here, Fernandinho and Nicolas Otamendi. Last game, of course, it was Eric Garcia and Laporte. But I feel as though those two will start because Fernandinho, he has been a class player, very much underrated with his roles and how good he has been in centre-back. Nicolas Otamendi, because he does bring that physicality with him, even though he can be a bit inconsistent at times, a bit like Swiss cheese at the back and not that too brilliant. Saying that, he has been picking it up lately just before the lockdown did happen and the Premier League football was put out of gear and handbrake on, as it were. But still, I'd see them two playing in the defence. Laporte, he might probably be brought on during the game if he does in fact be benched. He was actually taken off during the game, and I think it was Fernandinho that came on for him during that match. Benjamin Mendy, I'll put him in at left back. Zinchenko, he might make it. He's a good quality left back. He's also got that versatility about him, so he could play anywhere else in the midfield as well, and of course on the wing. Joao Cancelo, I was sort of debating whether or not to put him into the starting lineup. He's very versatile. He can play either right back or left back. But rumour has it that he's not too happy at the club, and that we might actually do a swap deal with him and Semedo, which seems good. I mean, I definitely would say that Semedo is a quality class player, but he will also have the same sort of problem, I feel, as Joao Cancelo, where they're too good, I'd say, too good to be backup fullbacks, but still, yeah, I'd like to see it happen. In a way, I would like to see it happen, but Joao Cancelo, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only City fan that would sit here and say that I would like to see him more and more game time for him at the club. Into midfield, in the last game, our midfield consisted of Kevin De Bruyne, who got the goal, Ilkay Gundogan, and David Silva. It's good to see David Silva back in the squad, of course, because this is his final season 10 years later in the Premier League with Manchester City. But for the midfield in this game, I'm going to go with Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, and Phil Foden. I've seen a couple of pre-match predictions for like the score sheet, and also the team sheet as well by people such as Esteemed Company, and a lot of people have been saying that they would like to see Phil Foden in the squad, and I will say, yeah, I'd like to see him in the squad, and I could see him making it into the squad, particularly against a team like Burnley, who at the time of this recording, let's just have a look, they are 11th and their form has not been too pretty. 29 games, they've got a goal difference of -6, and they've only accumulated 39 points compared to our 60, almost half what we have managed. Well, not quite as half, but let's just not bother with being too technical and too just whatever about it. But yeah, to see Phil Foden in the squad, of course, would be absolutely brilliant. Rodri, he's been sort of on and off. Of course, in the last game we played against Burnley, where we beat them 4-1, he did that amazing goal against them, that absolute thunder strike against them. Really good, very much unexpected from a player like him who does play that bit more deeper in the midfield. And to see him in the squad, yeah, I definitely would rate it. I'd say next season he will start to pick it up just that bit more. He's just getting used to the style of play in England. Guardiola's style of play might be that little bit different to Diego Simeone's. I'm just going to be hazarding a guess here. Must be simply obvious that they are just that little bit different. But that is a midfield I'm going to go for. Very strong midfield. But for the front three, I'm going to go for Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus, and Raheem Sterling. Bernardo Silva, I don't think he was actually substituted on during the game, was he? Oh yeah, he was. He was brought on during the game. I'd like to see him in the starting lineup. He's a very much underrated player at Manchester City. He doesn't really get too much praise. He's not really that too much notice. Of course, he did have that amazing goal in the Carabao Cup against Man United. That absolute beautiful screamer from good finesse shot, good goal in the back of the net against David De Gea. Gabriel, I can't talk to that. I really just can't talk. Gabriel Jesus, again, another quality player. It would be good to see him in the squad. Of course, he did start for the Burnley game. Not the Burnley game, that Arsenal game rather. But then again, I could also see Sergio Aguero coming in to the team. I think that Guardiola is just important for him to have good squad rotation between the two strikers, because of course Aguero will be leaving in 2 years' time. It's either 2 years or 1 year to Independiente. I hope I pronounced that right. In Argentina, where he did start out his footballing career at. But see Gabriel Jesus in the squad would also be very good as well. Raheem Sterling, he started off at the left during the game. He did in fact get a goal against Arsenal. It did look low, it might have been offside, but it still did go in nevertheless. And I see him, of course, playing it ahead of Leroy Sané, who was actually named on the bench, which I was quite surprised about. I didn't even think he would make it onto the bench, let alone into the starting lineup. Or rather the other way around. I didn't see him making it into the starting lineup, let alone making it onto the bench. That sort of makes sense. Either way, it makes sense to me, so I'm just going to go ahead with it. So Raheem Sterling, yeah, I can definitely see him playing on the wing. Leroy Sané, I'm very much doubtful that he would get any game time with the remainder of his time at the club, because of course he's not happy, he's not signed a contract, his relationship with Pep obviously has not improved anytime soon, and it was just a matter of time, I feel as though, to see him leave. It was still a bit of a surprise, and I did see a post on Facebook of a Manchester City fan page saying that we're all giving him sticks, saying, oh, he's being selfish, he's just only looking out for himself, whatever, and now he's leaving. But we really need to praise him for how much of a star quality player he has actually been for the club, and he must have enjoyed his time at the club. And I feel as though, yeah, he must have enjoyed his time at the club for him to put in all the hard work, all the hard work that he's put in crucial games, scoring amazing goals for us. And to see him go, like I said in my transfer video, is fair enough if he just does want to leave and he is just fed up of being at the club for whatever reason. I've not looked too much into the reasons why he does want to leave, but he still just wants to at the end of the day. So you know what? You do you. You do you, in my opinion. I'm not being salty, I'm not being annoyed. It just is what it is kind of matter. Now, looking at Burnley's squad, they're a very good, scrappy little team. They do have pace. For a little team as well, they do have good, strong midfield within that squad that can definitely decimate different teams. And McNeil, he's a very good pacey winger. Their midfield as well, they can be fairly decent. Westwood, he's a very much underrated player at the club. Ben Mee, the captain, he can very much organise them from the back. From time to time, I mean, the game against Tottenham, they were just obliterated, and you know what, it was just fair enough indeed. They are the sort of team that can very much be pick apart, and I feel as though it can happen also in this game. So for my prediction for the score in this game, I'm going to go with 4-1 again. It wouldn't surprise me if we go ahead and get 5, but then again, I'll be very surprised if it ends up in a draw or even a loss for us. Because like I said, they are a scrappy little team, but they could come out with big surprises as well within that. That's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. If you're new, feel free to do that. I'm not going to press you or anything like that. But this is the team I'm going to go for. Again, going over it. Ederson, Walker, Otamendi, Fernandinho, Benjamin Mendy, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. Thanks for watching. I'll see you. I might make a video post-match as well, giving my thoughts on it. Hopefully to make that a bit more of a series. But until then, I'll see you lot in a bizzle.